business with the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chris Spiker of Antelope Valley Florist.
I'm Aaron Goldstein from Goldstein Digital. Our next guest today is Bryan Anguiano, and you are from Tom Lackey's office.
Yes, I am.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
Bryan, how long have you been on the job?
Well, here in the Antelope Valley for about 8 months. 8 months. So I started in January, but I was an intern for Assemblyman Lackey last year for the first half of the year. So I've been with Assemblyman Lackey for about a year now.
Now, when you were interning the first time, were you out in the field?
I was not. I had the honor of working inside of the Capitol. So that was an incredible experience.
So there's some travel involved with this gig.
There is. And it's a different dynamic. For me, it's been an honor to be able to work at the legislative level at the Capitol office and here in the district, Antelope Valley. I'm happy to be here.
You told me you're having a great time.
It's amazing. This community is so warm. I am extremely, extremely excited about the things that the Antelope Valley looks forward to, and it's been an incredible experience, Chris.
That's why I wanted you on the radio show, because to me you're like the new guy.
Thank you, Chris.
And so I want you to be accepted and ingrained and dig this place.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about Tom Lackey's role as a state assembly member.
So Assemblyman Lackey, he is a state legislator. In the state of California, we have 80 assembly districts, and Assemblyman Lackey represents the 36th assembly district. The 36th Assembly District encompasses around 460,000 constituents.
Wow.
Each Assembly District represents a total of around that number, 460,000 constituents. So his role is he proposes bills that could potentially turn into law, and he also arbitrates bills that come through him in the committee process as well as on the Assembly floor. So aside from being a legislator, he is the representative of this community. So, he takes into account all of the different concerns and issue areas that constituents here in the district have. So that's one of his biggest roles as a legislator. But as you know, he wears many hats. He is what I like to call a citizen legislator, because his experience is pretty much ingrained in this community, and he's been here for throughout his whole life. So,
right.
his role is to represent the AV in Sacramento.
Tell me a little bit about some of Tom's introduced legislation during this year.
Yeah, so this year, a couple of the bills that I wanted to highlight today that really highlight some of the needs of the Antelope Valley and what can empower the Antelope Valley. So, for example, this year we introduced AB 240, which is the California Aerospace Institute bill. This bill would establish a type of a satellite campus on behalf of the UC system to be able to kind of cater to this community that is historically known as an incubator for aerospace.
Right.
And, we think that it's important to be able to try to propose legislation that could establish a type of institute here in the Antelope Valley and explore different areas for our youth and our students here in the Antelope Valley to stay here in the Antelope Valley and practice in the aerospace field. In addition to that, we introduced AB 824, which is a transitional housing for homeless youth bill. That bill would aim to increase the amount of monies for individuals that are unaccompanied youth. So essentially, try to increase the amount of money that is proposed through the budget. In addition to that, we are very excited with some of the developments that we had with our bill AB6, which is our CHP drug driving task force. This bill in specific would establish a driving under the influence of drugs task force that would be assigned by the CHP commissioner that would do research on driving under the influence technology, as well as establish pilot programs and be able to come up with a good way for law enforcement to establish a precedent to detect impaired driving under the influence of drugs.
Need that.
Yes. And another bill that we introduced is our parking ticket plan, AB 503, which would establish a plan for local cities to establish programs so that individuals of low income can go ahead and have a payment plan for parking citations.
Yeah, so that way they don't just get inundated with. You get a ticket, and then you get a penalty,
Right.
and pretty soon you got a problem.
Yes.
You can't pay it.
Yes. So you're looking at we've introduced legislation that relates to issue areas such as public safety, addressing poverty, housing shortages, and different things that of local government and governance.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about the pieces of Tom's legislation that got signed into law?
Absolutely. So, thanks to the hard work of the Assemblyman and the Assemblyman staff, as well as community partnerships here in district, we've been able to get AB 6 signed into law, which again would establish that driving under the influence task force. As you know, after the passage of Proposition 64, we would establish recreational marijuana here in the state of California. It's important to be able to address and put forward regulations that can keep our roads safe. And with that, it's sort of a gray area right now in regards to what framework law enforcement can use to detect impairment and stuff like that. So being able to get experts, pharmaceutical experts, drug recognition experts, physicians, marijuana experts, as well as law enforcement to work together and establish that precedent and that technology moving forward. We're very proud of that. And thanks to, again, all of that hard work, we've been able to establish that and get that signed by the governor. And moving forward, we'll be looking into that. In addition to that, they're going to be appropriating $3 million to better train CHP officers to detect impairment. And so that's something that we're pretty excited that the governor was able to grant us with the signature. Another bill that we were able to move forward is our transitional housing for homeless youth. Through the budget, we've been able to appropriate an additional $10 million for those unaccompanied youth to be able to help them have a better structure for the future and a better base for the future. And so those are two items that we're very, very proud of. And finally, I think one of a huge highlight of this legislative session is that we've been able to move forward and we've been able to establish an open container law that pertains to the issue of marijuana. Again, there's a lot of different gray areas with marijuana and this new industry that's growing and moving forward. So now, thanks to our Assemblyman's efforts, now we're going to have a standard for peace officers and law enforcement to kind of have a rule on that. So now, moving forward, if you have an open container of more marijuana in the car, then you're going to be subject to citation. So now it kind of sets a precedent for individuals to kind of distinguish where they can place their marijuana and stuff like that.
Wow, that's a lot. So you're the field representative,
Yes.
and what's your role? And why did you choose to work for a legislator?
Yes. So my role as a field representative is to be the Assemblyman's eyes and ears. The Assemblyman is in Sacramento Monday through Thursday, working on important things with legislation. So I relay all the message that I get from the community, and I relay them back forth to Assemblyman Tom Lackey. So for me, it's important to stay engaged, to be around in the community, and to be able to attend events as we have in the chamber, such as ribbon cuttings. Yes.
Yeah.
So pretty much being out in the community at every single event or at every single event that it would be pertinent for the Assemblyman's field representative to be.
And at every event, does somebody come up to you and give you a shopping list or a concern or?
Yes. And and that's,
I guess that's cool, isn't it?
No, that's incredible. I mean, I never thought that I would have the ability to be able to be that person and have that role as a young man like myself, or this early on in my career. But I take it with great pride, and I make sure that every single concern, every single thing that is pertinent for the Assemblyman to know is relayed over to not only the Assemblyman, but to his staff.
Very good. And you said you were a fan of talk radio?
I am a fan of talk radio. Studying political science and being interested in the field of politics, it's always important to be able to understand what's going on in the political spectrum. And talk radio is an avenue for individuals to be supplemented with that information. And being able to study it and kind of learn from it is important. It has been important for my development as somebody in this field. And I just absolutely love talk radio, and I truly admire everything that you're doing here, Chris.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this isn't exactly talk radio. This is interviewing members of the Chamber of Commerce,
Right.
and making sure that the members get some benefit.
Absolutely.
You know, their business and their personal increases.
Right.
Nothing controversial here,
Right.
but we're having a lot of fun. And it's not really a commercial. People watch this and they get some belief in it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'm always looking for suggestions you might have to make it even a little better.
Okay.
Or if Aaron's got to go to a Comic-Con or something again, and we need a co-host to fill in.
Right. I'll take that into account. I'll think about it.
Now, how long have you worked for the Assemblyman?
So I've been with the Assemblyman here in the district since January. So now it's 8 months. But I've been with the Assemblyman in Sacramento for 5 months. So it's about a year.
Wow.
Yes. So it's been an incredible experience.
And you want to do it again?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is truly a dream come true to be able to represent citizen legislators such as Tom Lackey.
Bryan Anguiano with Assemblyman Tom Lackey's office. Contact information for you or for your office?
Yes. So if you'd like to get in contact with us, please email me at my email, Bryan, BRYAN, Anguiano, ANGUIANO, at asm.ca.gov.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Chris.
You bet.
It's an honor.